Hi, baby. Hi. Aw, you're so good. Well, good morning. Happy hump day, as we will. I got quite a few questions on my previous video about how I lost 60 pounds, so I thought today I would go through all those questions and answer them and kind of go into detail also about certain things that I would do, things that I would eat, and how I got to be where I am today. But first, I'll show you the fit. We'll get the matcha going, and let's go. Okay, as promised, the fit. I know. I have a thing for like mini skirts like lately. I love them. Of course, you know, I am a big fan of bodysuits, so this is my bodysuit. And heels, of course, fantasy fit. That's the fantasy part because I am absolutely not walking in those all day. No, but they look cute together. Also, if you don't know, now you know, I love bows and headbands. I haven't worn one in a while, but I'm a big bow girl, so get used to that. Anyway, let's get the matcha going and let me spill the tea. Matcha time. Anyway, as promised, like I said, I got a whole bunch of comments and questions on my weight loss episode video that I posted a few days ago. And I am so excited to share this information with you, and thank you for asking those questions and wanting to know more details. I know I kind of glossed over a lot of stuff, but I am happy to share. Like I said, I'm Lex, and I film and create videos every single day. I put this challenge to myself in hopes of encouraging my hubby to start creating his YouTube channel, but also because I wanted to challenge myself and be creative and have a creative outlet. And when I started in 2022, it was January 2022, I was pretty much at my heaviest, which was 180 pounds. So, you know, a lot of things happened, mental struggles. I was struggling with being a teacher coming out of the pandemic and going into a new school and then being targeted and bullied as a teacher in that new school. There were a lot of factors at play that I mean, I was already starting, you know, I was at my heaviest and I got heavier and heavier starting this new school. And my mental health got worse and my physical health got worse because of this new school. But it was because I promised myself, this is like the number one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize or need to understand. I knew I was heavy and unhealthy and I wasn't happy because of my weight and I wasn't feeling good because of my weight, but also because of the mental things and also the struggles that was happening in, you know, as a teacher. But for me, losing the weight was a life or death situation. And to be clear, it wasn't that I was going to die because I was that weight. I mean, obviously that weight will shorten your lifespan because you can't do as much, that sort of thing. And because you're unhealthy, you lose years, whatever. But because of how mentally dark and how much I struggled mentally and being bullied and targeted and everything I was going through, there were many days, every single day at a certain point, I would wake up and I would cry because I woke up. And I would have days where I wished that I never woke up. And I say that to say I promised myself that and it all stemmed from being a teacher and being tormented as a teacher in my last school. I promised myself that if I could lose this weight, I would get myself out of that situation. And that was a very dangerous situation for my mental health. What I will say is, if you are in a situation where you are having dark thoughts, suicidal ideation, all these things, don't wait to get your promise solidified. Don't wait until you fulfill the promise that you made to yourself. Get yourself out of that situation and get help as soon as possible. I say all that to say, though, this was a situation that might sound extreme for some people, but it was the leading factor and what got me to really seriously fulfill and lose this weight. Because like I said, if I lost this weight, I would get myself out of this very dark and what to me felt like a situation that I could not escape unless I made radical moves. And one of those radical moves in my mind was losing this weight. Because to me, if I lost this weight, then I could do anything. And I also knew that if I lost this weight, things would change on the outside as well. So not just like my physical change, my mental change, but the way people viewed me, the way people would treat me would be very different from when I was 180 pounds to now when I'm 120. So, and I knew that because I wasn't always 180 pounds. There was a point when, I was 130, 135, that sort of thing. That was like my medium range. This is the smallest I have ever been. And I feel amazing and I'm happy and everything is great now, but I just want to make sure that I had to be in a very extreme situation, a life or death situation, in order to accomplish what I have accomplished. So I am by no means saying that this is easy. This has been one of the hardest things I have ever had to do, not just in terms of losing the weight, but the journey on which it has taken me. After I quit teaching, I took a year and I traveled, and I had that privilege because I also have my own film business, and we saved every penny I made as a teacher. We were able to, take time and I was able to heal that year. That was 2023 last year. And then this year, I am still continuing that journey of healing from the trauma of education, but the mental trauma that I endured, and also like feeling happy and being in a better place and seeing myself in a better light as well, if that makes any sense. During my time as a teacher, I had started talk therapy. Originally, I wanted to get on antidepressants. I wanted to get on something for my ADHD originally, but my first doctor didn't listen to me and wanted to fix the symptom, not the cause. And for me, I felt like the cause was my ADHD. I felt like if I could get my ADHD under control, then I could figure everything else out. But he didn't listen, and instead told me to go to a psychiatrist, and she also wasn't listening, and they both prescribed me antidepressants instead of what I felt like I needed, which was something for my ADHD. So I was on Lexapro. It did not do anything for me. It was really hard to accept that it wasn't working for me. And it just kind of got me in a darker place because I felt like everything was hopeless. Now I know now that you need to try different things. You know, your body chemistry is different. Just like what works for me to lose weight might not work for everyone. But I will say it's not just a physical journey. It is also a mental journey. So sorry for all of that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood where I'm coming from, the place that I had to be in to start my journey in the first place. So to the nitty gritty, one of the first questions I was asked was, what is my fasting routine? So part of my weight loss journey, I started a few different things. I also started and tried Noom, which actually worked really well for me. It told me everything I already knew because I grew up in a household that was all about being healthy, eating healthy, working out, all that stuff. I knew all these things, but it was nice to see it in kind of like a gamification way where I started just eating things that were like in the green zone as opposed to yellow. And when I was doing Noom, they had like a red. Now they do orange because they don't want, red negativity, whatever. But anyway, I started focusing only on things that were green. And the more green things that I consumed, the faster and easier way it was for me to lose weight. And that was really encouraging. So, but I also started doing fasting, which was something I kind of always did in a way. I don't like to eat first thing in the morning, but I will have a full glass of water, but I don't consume calories until after 10:30. So my fasting ends at 10:30 in the morning, and then I like to have dinner before 6 p.m. And here's the thing too with fasting is after 6 or 7 or whatever, if you're still hungry, there are a few things you can do. One, eat more vegetables, drink another glass of water. That will definitely help you feel fuller. And then if the veggies and the water still aren't doing it, end your day with something sweet, but make sure it's fruit, not something that has added sugar to it. So my trick was strawberries and whipped cream, and that always worked for me. So even if it was after my fasting, timing, I would still try and, in the beginning, I was still eating and still feeling hungry. I knew I needed to consume a little something to help myself sleep. After a while, though, what I began to realize, because I was working out all the time and burning so many calories, it was hard for me because my body wanted to consume more and more calories, more than I was burning. So, I started just walking, and the more I walked, the more calories I would burn, but also I wouldn't have this insatiable urge to just constantly consume the calories that I was burning. On the other side of that, there were days that I did go to bed and I was still hungry. And it sounds bad, but your body has to get used to eating less calories and being less full. Your stomach has to shrink in order for it to understand that you are going to consume less calories in order to do what it is that you're doing. Your body, when you have all that excess weight, already has those calories stored. So it's okay for your body to take that extra fat, those extra calories that it has stored, and so it's okay to go to bed hungry. Some people might say that sounds extreme, but it's what works. You need to, eat less and move more. That is the simple formula in losing weight. So there were days that I would go to bed hungry because I really wanted to lose the weight, and I knew that I would still be fine if I didn't eat until I was full or satisfied. Because also, in that same vein, your stomach doesn't tell your brain when it's full until after it's past being full. So you have to take your time when you eat as well. A few things that helped me keep in mind. So I would do at least between 3,500 and 5,000 steps every single day. I would just make sure that I did at least that amount of steps so that I could consume just enough amount of food so that I was, still functioning fine, maybe a little hungry, but enough to be totally fine and just hungry. I got to a point where I wasn't getting any hunger headaches or anything like that. But, these are just things that you have to keep in mind when you want to lose the weight. Being hungry is going to be a part of that journey. It's going to be a part of that process. It's just what has to be in order to lose the weight. But yeah, I did make sure that I did at least 35 to 5,000 steps every single day. That is not a lot. I mean, it was literally, I walked around my neighborhood 2 or 3 times, once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and then in the evening again with the puppy. So it's not a lot, but it was enough for me to lose those calories, burn those calories without my body starving for more and forcing, needing to feel like I have to consume more in order to survive. So that was about the amount of steps that I would do, 3,500 to 5,000 steps every day. Someone also asked if I had cheat days. Now, like I said in the very beginning, losing the weight is very difficult because you don't yet know what works for you, what is your chemistry, what sticks inside of your body versus what will leave your body or take anything out with it. You're still learning what works and what doesn't work. But also, your body craves these high fat content things. Over processed food, your body craves that sugar, it craves that salt, especially when that's what you're used to consuming. And when I was at that 180 pounds, I didn't care what I was consuming. I just ate what I wanted to eat, what I felt made me feel good. And then in the end, obviously, was not good. But I will say, in the beginning, you need to give yourself grace. You are not going to be perfect, and it is okay to start switching things up, right? So things I would do, I love pasta, and I loved pasta then, obviously. So what I started to do was switch my regular pasta, even the wheat pasta, I would change it to pasta that was made of beans, right? Like a chickpea pasta, or I would have Trader Joe's cauliflower gnocchi, the sweet potato gnocchi, stuff like that. I would try to make sure that I enjoyed eating what I was eating, but also switching things that were a healthier version. Not necessarily healthy, but healthier, so that I can continue my journey in going into being healthier and healthier and healthier. Eventually, I got to the point where I was eating all the vegetables and all the fruit and my lean meats. People were asking as well, what were some of the protein things that you would consume? So obviously I had my matcha collagen. I also consumed salmon and chicken. Very rarely do I eat red meat. That's not because I'm against it or anything. I just don't. It's very expensive. And if I'm gonna eat red meat, I want the best cut. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna eat some scrappy skirt steak or whatever. I want the best cut of meat and I wanna enjoy it. But in today's day and age, that is very, very expensive because I would get a filet mignon, or a T-bone, and that's like a $40 cut of meat. And for one meal, that's crazy. So, sorry, hubby just walked in. the things that, in terms of protein, I would eat salmon, chicken, shrimp, peanut butter, beans. At first, beans were a problem because they really hurt my stomach, but I eventually learned that they were hurting my stomach because they were working on clearing my stomach out, and I was no longer bloated and didn't feel sick anymore because I was starting to make healthier and healthier choices. So that was definitely an exciting revelation. I also consume real milk. I don't do oat milk, I don't do almond milk, coconut milk, none of that. I do real milk because it also has protein in it. And I do lactate because I am lactose sensitive, not intolerant, but I am sensitive. So I'm very conscious of the kind of dairy that I consume. And of course, full Greek yogurt. I would also have that with maybe some fruit in it, and that was a great way of, again, getting that protein and the probiotics and keeping my body happy and healthy and working well. So it was a great snack, and sometimes, after my stomach started to shrink, it was just a great way to end the day. Someone also asked me, how has my body changed since losing the 60 pounds? They also, more specifically, asked about my ladies. So as I'm sure you could see in my previous 180-pound body, I had a lot going on top. That was just how it is, But I also always had a fuller figure. I believe and still I believed and still kind of believe that no matter what I do to lose weight, I will still always have a very curvy figure. It's just the nature of my body. I don't think I will ever be a skinny girl, but I will say that this has been the skinniest I've ever been. And I feel like a size 2, extra small is skinny. So I should give myself a little more credit, but I am just a very curvy girl. And so when I lost the weight, the curves got more extreme, I would say, because I, for the most part, maintained having on top, and my hips were always wide. I always had wide hips and I always had a small waist. So even when I was bigger, you could still see that I was, I still had kind of a curve situation going on. All that to say, my hips will always be wide and my butt will always be there. But I feel like part of that is because I was such a gym rat, and I always went to the gym and devoted a lot of time to the gym. So there's a lot of muscle that was underneath the fat even after I stopped going to the gym. The figure and the muscle memory is still there. And I feel like that's why, you're starting to actually see some of that muscle that, I built a long time ago, and it's still there. But yeah, in terms of my chest, I was probably an F, maybe an G. I was big, as you can see. There was a lot going on top. Big boobies. And then when I lost that weight, my chest obviously, like everything else, shrunk. I am still a D cup, but I feel like it's not as full on top here as it is maybe a little, you wear the right bra, everything looks great. You know what I'm saying? So, some people are worried about losing the weight because they're going to lose, things are in their body are going to change, but that's just inevitable. Your skin stretched, and, these parts are going to be different, but in terms of skin stretching, let me also say this. I'm sure you figured out by now, I'm a big, skincare makeup, hair care, body care kind of person. I love taking care of my body. I love taking care of my skin. Self-care is not just like a thing of like, oh, you're taking care of yourself. No, like it is. Sometimes it's hard for me to get up in the morning because I have to think about all the things I'm going to do to take care of my body on the outside, like what I, the lotions that I use, all of that stuff. I feel like the reason why I don't have stretch marks like a lot of people do comes down to the fact that from when I was young, I always used lotion on my entire body, my legs, my arms, my chest, my stomach, my butt, everywhere. Even my neck, I used lotion. I just made sure that my whole body was moisturized. So as I was losing the weight, I was still doing my skincare routine and taking care of my skin. And I feel like that is a big factor in the reason why I don't have as many stretch marks, because I didn't lose so quickly that my skin couldn't heal and shrink alongside with the rest of my body. So I feel like taking care of your skin is also a big factor in continuing and having the body you want after you lose the weight, so that you don't have those stretch marks or that excess skin. I do have a little extra skin on my stomach, unfortunately for me, I feel like, but I'm very self-critical, and every time I say that, people are very surprised and they don't see it. But I live with my body every single day, so it is something that I notice, and I have a very critical inner voice. So again, that is something that I kind of just unfortunately am very aware of. I have since kind of accepted it, and honestly, it's still healing. I feel like it's still going down. And I also feel like when I start going back into the gym or start going to do my yoga and getting back into building my muscle, I feel like the skin will kind of shrink and go along with the muscle that I build underneath it. So that's another journey to start, but that is my hypothesis when it comes to that. Someone asked me what was something that I struggled with the most in losing this weight. And my initial reaction, the first thing that popped in my head was obviously the mental journey it took me to get to that point. Honestly, the biggest struggle was being that size and being the person that was in that body, and the not wanting to wake up, and just how sad she was, and her spark was gone. Everything that made her who she was just gone. And I would say that is one of the biggest struggles, but I know that that wasn't really what the question was. So I guess the hardest part, the struggle, was, aside from deciding that this needed to happen in order for me to survive and see the next few years, was how I guess it was just getting up every day and choosing me. And if I messed up, my biggest struggle was giving myself grace and allowing myself to acknowledge that I am human and I made a mistake, and my next choice will be a better choice. And to not think, oh, well, you fucked up, so now everything is fucked up and nothing else matters. I couldn't go down that path. I would acknowledge that I messed up, and then I would have to tell myself, it's okay. The next choice will be a better choice, will be a healthier choice. And so that was my struggle, was not just falling into that self-pity and self-hatred and just giving up entirely. It was, this is important. What are you going to do to fix this mistake, or, do better next time? And I didn't necessarily have those thoughts in my head, but the process of, if you want to survive, you need to keep going. And that's really what was at the forefront for everything when it came to, the biggest struggle in losing the weight. I also got asked what was the best thing of, since you've lost the weight, what is the best thing you've experienced, best part of losing the weight? And there are so many things that are just the best, right? The absolute best part of losing this weight. And I mean, simply some of that stuff is basically just feeling physically better. When I was 180 pounds, everything hurt. My knees, my ankles, even my elbows, my back, everything hurt. My brain, obviously, I was in agony all the time. And when I started doing my matcha collagen and rebuilding the muscle and the joints because of that collagen, and then the weight loss, and I no longer had joint pain. I no longer had pain in my muscles, and, the weight was coming off. Like that alone, no longer snoring, being able to breathe again. I mean, the physical benefits alone were amazing. And then the transformation of my body and feeling excited about the future, because I used to love fashion. And when I got to be 180 pounds, I lived in black leggings, black shirt, big black jacket. I hid my body. I hid myself from the world. And that woman was just too special to hide. And since I have lost that weight, I have found my love of fashion again. I have found confidence in who I am not just because of the way I look, but also, people treat me differently. Sometimes it's scary. I'm not going to lie to you. There are people that look at me and I do get nervous, but that's just a trauma response of things that I've experienced as a woman in the world. But for the most part, very positive, very exciting and incredible, and the confidence I feel. And the cruel inner voice has gotten smaller and smaller. And that alone is just world-changing, life-changing. And so, yeah, I think the best part of losing the weight is the person that I should have always been, I can finally be. And that's exciting. I did find that there were a few teachers in my comments as well. And they asked me, would you ever go back? Would you ever go back to education? And living my truth right now, being who I am right now, the feeling I have for education stems still from a lot of trauma. And I feel like I don't think I could return to education until I am fully healed, and I don't know how long that will be. And I don't know if I can completely heal from the trauma and the experiences that I've had as an educator in this country. So, and not just being bullied and targeted and treated cruelly, and the workload, and your day is never over and you're still working through the summer. You don't really have summers off. Not just that, but the fact of the matter is we live in a country where people can just come into schools and shoot other people, So they're talking about arming teachers now. It's become a job that is so scary on so many levels when all it is supposed to be is a job that is, one, just a job, but two, growing, young minds and building young people into incredible, souls and people for our future, for this country's future. And where it's going now is very scary. And I don't know if I will ever be ready to go back to that. And I don't know if I can truly heal from everything that has happened since and because of it. So as of right now, I feel like I don't think I could ever return to teaching, but never is a long time. So in terms of education and inspiring, I guess that's another reason why we're here. I love to educate, I do, and I love to inspire. And so I guess in a way, I still have that. I don't have my students anymore, which I truly miss and love, but I have you guys, and I feel like that's also really exciting and wonderful to build the community that I have here and to keep growing and make the world a better place because of it. This is just a question that people have asked me, because I know a lot of people that have lost the weight and then gained the weight back, lost and weight, they do this yo-yoing with their weight. And so I think a lot of people want to know how I am able to maintain, and why do I think it's so hard for people to, one, lose the weight, but also keep the weight off. And I think there's two parts to that, right? Losing the weight is really difficult because you have to be in a mindset where, again, this is a life or death situation. And even if you're not mentally like, oh, my life is over if I don't lose this weight, or even if you're not like physically, if I don't lose this weight, I'm going to die tomorrow, you have to understand that if you are overweight at a point where, people are concerned or you're concerned, you don't feel well physically, or it's affecting you mentally, you are taking years off your life and you are closer to death than if you, are in a healthier weight, right? So you have to actually be in that mindset and understand that in losing this weight, you will actually make your life longer. And for some, that's a good thing. For others, depending on which way we go in this world and in this country. But anyway, what I'm saying is you have to understand that this is a lifetime commitment. And I think a lot of people don't realize, okay, I lost the weight, I can do what I want to do again. And you can't. This is a lifestyle change. You have to consciously make healthy decisions every single day. I know that sounds awful and crazy. What? I have to cut out my Oreos. I can't have cereal anymore. I can't have bread anymore. And no, you can. Just in moderation, but also once you get to a certain weight and once you get used to eating healthy and making healthy choices, you don't want to eat those things anymore. You literally, your brain and your body no longer craves those things because it wants to have that nutrition. You get addicted to feeling good. You get addicted to physically being able to do more if you put the good fuel in your body versus if you ate something fatty or greasy and you take a hike or a walk or work out. You're gonna notice how sick you feel. You're gonna sweat out all those toxins and the over-processed food, and you're gonna feel like absolute garbage. Versus if you had had a salad and maybe some salmon or chicken and you go work out, you're gonna feel a lot better. So while it sounds like, oh no, I can never eat junk food again, that's not true. You can have ice cream and stuff, and it's all in moderation. But you also have to be mindful every single day of what you are consuming and making sure that the food that you consume is healthy and that you are putting good fuel into your body so that you feel good every single day. So I think that is what a lot of people struggle with, why they do the yo-yo, because they lost the weight. They're like, all right, I'm good. I can go back to doing whatever I want. And you can't. It is a lifestyle change. And I think that's what people need to realize. It's a whole lifestyle change. I want to end this video with one more question that I got, and that was, what is the best piece of advice you can give to somebody who wants to lose weight? And honestly, I guess picture yourself in just like what you want to accomplish. Imagine, like for me, I had pictures of people. I created a vision board and I had women in bikinis. I had cute little booties. I had, you know what I mean? I would look at those bodies and I would say, I want that. I want to look like that. And so I had a visualization of what I wanted to look like. That helped me so much because I knew I could literally see what my goal was. So work towards something you know will change your life for the better. And remember, even if you mess up, your next choice can be a better choice. You can still work towards your goal. Nothing is completely lost. You can still do better and do great. Yeah. And finish every day with raw broccoli. Oh, and before every meal, drink a full glass of water and walk. Yeah. And like in the beginning too, like I guess I didn't mention this, but also in the beginning, I had a diary of everything that I ate until eventually I just figured out what worked for my body chemistry and I no longer needed to keep notes of anything. I knew if I ate this, I was gonna lose weight. I knew if I ate that, I might gain weight, but if I walked a little bit more, I might stay maintaining, you know? So like, eventually you'll figure out your own chemistry. I achieved the weight loss, the 60 pounds in 14 months. And yeah, I am a 36-year-old woman, so I am not your little young, high metabolism kid. It's the first time I ever told anybody on the internet how old I am, so there you go. Anyway, okay, but anyway, I hope this was super helpful. If you have any more questions, please let me know in the comments below. And like I said, I love to do fashion things here. This weight loss journey has gotten me back into fashion. I like to do hair, makeup, skincare. If you want to know, somebody asked about my skincare routine, so I'm going to do that pretty soon. But yeah, if you want to know anything else, or if you're interested in anything else, if you want me to try different things, or if you want to know what my matcha collagen combination mixture is, I am very happy to share that as well. I have shared it before, but I can do an updated version. But yeah, anyway, I am so happy that you're here, and I am so excited to keep growing. I love the community that we have so far. It is nothing but love and acceptance and just beautiful things. And I am just so excited that you're here with me and I'm able to be the teacher that I am not able to be in a school anymore. I'm able to still inspire, and it's just a wonderful feeling to be, you know, a positive part of people's lives again. So I hope you had an amazing day. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. There's more to come. I also love to travel, so we've got traveling things happening. I'm close to the city, so we go into New York City if that's something you love. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Until next time.